Okay, today is Thankful Thorsday. So, today what we're going to be doing is I have opened up my Akashic Records and I wanted to do a little channeling. So, there's a few things that have been on the back of my mind for a little while now, and that is, what is resonance? So, a lot of people claim when you eat specific food other than vegetables, then you will actually lower the resonance, so you will become less of a divine being. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into it and we're going to channel on, are these people full of shit? Because I'm going to be honest, I know if there are certain things that are done with the food, possibly it could lower the energy, because how people slaughter animals could affect the way the meat could be. So that could be a possibility. But in general, does that actually affect the resonance of the food itself, right? So now if we're over here eating vegetables or say plant-based diet and you're a vegan, you realize anything in this world still has a vibration, has a resonance, and possibly even has a subconscious at some level. So with that said, when you're over here eating only vegetables, you're still killing off a resonance of that plant. You get what I mean? So with that said, is it any better for you to eat meat because it's a living animal than a plant that is still resonance and still a living specimen here on Mother Earth? Because everything resonates at a certain level. And with that said, I think that people could be off. And then, like, a lot of people are putting out in certain imagery right now about the food that we have and like certain symbologies. So we're going to talk about what we need to look at in the future, how the food actually going to deteriorate to like a certain way, to where if today the resonance of the food is a certain way, is it going to be worse in the future, the way that they are doing things to food with GMOs and stuff like that? Because a lot of the food that we have today, what's funny is we assume they're not genetically modified, but unless it's organically heirloom stuff, it is still genetically modified in certain ways. And a lot of people don't understand that. So it has to be heirloom plants, heirloom things like that. And a lot of plants aren't. Just like I have three rose bushes that have made it. I think I've planted like 10. They are heirloom varieties. What that means is the new plants that you see in the store today are hybrid species to where they don't get funguses. So they have been genetically modified to be able to bloom better than the ones that I have. And the thing is, the reason that I like the rose bushes that I have currently is because when they bloom, you know the shit's going down, because you are doing something right, rather than just planting a bush that's hybridized and it just blooms. My plants, they are certain animals and bugs are attracted to them because of the fluids that run through the heirloom varieties. So then you have to take care of the funguses, you have to take care of the bugs that are attracted to them, and those bugs are not attracted to the hybrid species. So I wanted to make a little bit of an example. So also, yesterday, what's funny, when I have been speaking about this specific God lately, I've been having like pain in my neck and my shoulders speaking about it. Like it almost wants to make me stop speaking. And yesterday I noticed, so I went back to make sure the sound was correct. And when I was looking at everything, I was realizing I was talking about that same deity God again, and then my camera shut off yesterday. So that goes to show there is a lot of shit we don't understand. And so these things don't have to show presence here. But the thing is, they're around, and they can shut electrical things off, they can shut you down, they can attack you, they can make you feel shitty. I was speaking to somebody a few days ago about the same one, and she said, I feel like I'm being attacked. I said, well, I feel it in my shoulders and my neck. And she said, you know what? I do too. So it's funny, we're so far apart, but we're still feeling the same energy when we were speaking about it. And yesterday, what I was trying to do there towards the end was explain the Odin part, how he is against the satanic ideology. So he fought against it. That was his prime reason, and that's his power. He is the one that is for the sun god, not the artificial light. And so there's a lot of aspects, but I want to speak about that more in the later podcast. So what I'll do is probably do another briefing on him next Wednesday. So let's go ahead and get into the resonance. There we go. And as soon as I started, now I'm hot. Normally happens when the energy starts flowing. It's like you get hot as shit, you feel it, and then you start, my head just goes in the ether. So I'm instantly like, as soon as I start the coughing, my mind is completely crazy. It's just blank, and what comes. And then I get that TV screen. Normally that's what my eyes are looking at in the back, is I get the TV screen after I open up the Akashics to be able to relay the information for the resonance. Okay, so the first question today about the resonance. When people work with your resonance, can they actually damage things? So they're showing, okay, so when some people are over here, say Reiki masters or other people, if they haven't studied enough, they're showing like, okay, so acupuncturists, and they're showing if they don't know the certain power points of your body, they can actually change certain energies to not leave the resonance of your body, so it could actually do more harm than good if they don't know, if they haven't really done enough studying of the resonance of the body. Because with everything being electrical, everything runs through the body. So they're showing the person there, and then somebody being put with like the needles, and then it shows like the energy being dispersed. But if it's not put in the correct way, it's not flowing where it should, it's just being dispersed in that area. So there's more of a blockage rather than a radiation, if you get what I mean. So it's supposed to radiate outwards or upwards along the 33 vertebrae of your spinal column where the chakras are. And a lot of the power points of our body goes out your arms and your legs and every other place. So there are certain power points within your body that they can touch that releases the energy out, and if they don't hit the correct one, then they can actually harm the resonance of your body to where it's not going to be helpful. So does that mean it could actually cause you to have sicknesses? It could. So they're showing like it could cause, these blockages could actually create certain things to where you'll start having other problems from that one area that was not done properly, if that makes sense. I've never thought about this before. So now the thing is how could you be able to correct that? And okay, so the first thing that they showed was somebody sitting on the ground and really sitting on the ground like in a meditative state, because when your butt is on the ground, you're attracting that energy, so it can actually help fix the energy flow through the body to let it go out the top. So it could actually, so they're showing things change, and when things are shifting after you get into because see, the earth has a magnetism and our bodies is electrical. So what happens is when this goes through, it's starting to shift the certain things that have blockages to release them, to let them out, if that makes sense. And then they was showing me another technique that I learned not too long ago through the Akashics for healing yourself. And that is, I take a big, like a big bucket, it's probably about this big, and I fill it with ice. I layer the whole bottom with ice, and then I fill it up with the coldest water possible. And another thing that I do is I'll stand inside this water, and what happens is your body, somehow, they were showing me how when you stand in this water, your body reacts to it. So it's like it freezes. Well, at the same time, you need to be like mentally in the space to release the energy out of your hands. So you're going to stand there like this, like just putting the energy out of your hands back into the ground to let it out. And another thing, if you're feeling really intoxicated, or if you feel like maybe something in your body is a little off, another thing I was shown was taking active charcoal and lining it along this area here and underneath like certain power points. And what it does is, while you're trying to get it out, this will suck it also to be able to release that energy while you're trying to do it, while your body is reacting to it and shifting it up your body, and then you release out of your hands. Now, how can someone create a higher resonance? And that is a connection. Knowing that you have the connection, knowing that you are the connection. So as soon as you understand that you are the connection to everything that exists, you start understanding that everything is interconnected in a way. Not all things are interconnected. I'm not saying all things. I'm saying the divine mind of God is in a space. And then the universal forces around us are in a space. Mother Nature is in a space. So when you're in this space, things start to make things change, if you get what I mean. So you need to think about certain aspects within Mother Nature. And if you live in the city, walk to a fucking park. Get out of your house. Get off the fucking computer. Get off your damn telephone. Just like right now, I'm on here teaching or doing this shit, right? Where am I at? I'm sitting here barefoot on Mother Nature as I speak. So I am still connected to this source energy that I'm over here speaking about. So I'm interconnected. Now, the reason I'm doing it earlier this morning, it's not because it's hot as shit. I've actually went to my hip doctor. Oh God. Every time I go to my hip doctor, I've been doing these natural procedures with stem cell and PRP and infusions into my hip joint. And I tell you, every time I go, that doctor has a resident doctor trying to learn his techniques, because he's like the hip guru of this region. I live in North Carolina. So he's got these bitches that are all residents, and they all, every fucking time they want to play with my hip. And every time I'm like, please don't do too much, because it takes me a week to get over it. So this whole week I have been dealing with some issues with my hip, because homegirl kept doing shit, and I kept telling her, okay, that's enough. Okay, that's enough. Well, can I rotate it this way? Well, you can, but the pain's going to happen. It's not today it's going to hurt. It's like a week from today. We're almost, shit, I don't even know when I went. I can't even keep, I can keep track of the days because I'm telling you, like, methodical days of the week. I don't know the damn date. I am so out of it anymore. I have no idea. I live in outer space, and it's like a 5D mentality. Oh, something else just came to my mind, right? Okay, so if you were in a space today and you don't remember a lot of shit from your past, do you understand why? It's because you're elevated to a certain point. So when you were not elevated, say like 10 years ago, you were in the 3D mindset. And when you're in the 3D mindset, what happens is you live in a certain space. And after you break down this paradigm of the residence of things and everything, and you start moving into the 5D, and when you're shifting in and out, you can have a conversation with somebody today, be in like a 5D mindset, and not even remember it tomorrow if you're in a bad mood. And that's how things are going to start moving forward. And I've noticed within like the last couple of years, I don't remember anything about the past anymore. I swear, it's just funny because I'll see people, I'm like, I know them from somewhere, and I know I probably went to school with you. I don't know your name. I don't really even know how I know you probably. Where in the hell is this going? I tell you, it's so funny how things are just changing, and then you look at it, you're like, what the fuck? I know that girl. I told my partner the other day, we was at the restaurant having margaritas. And so, well, next thing you know, we was over there. I was like, I know that girl behind us. I don't know her from how. I don't know her from why. Saw her again in the grocery store the other day, and I was like, that's that same fucking girl. Don't know her. I couldn't tell you her name. I remember the face. Don't know how I know her. Don't know how. But I do know her from like the 3D world, from when I was in that 3D. So if you start having these things and you start noticing things like that, it's probably because you're starting to shift out of that mindset. And when you are, you start to forget these things about your past. And a lot of my past, I don't remember anymore. I really don't. And it's a little freaky, to be honest. And I'll have to look back at like memories, photos and stuff, to actually put me back there. Because otherwise, I won't remember. I don't remember hardly anything anymore. And it's because you're moving out of that mind space. And when you're out of that mind space, you didn't live there before. You get what I mean? So when you didn't live there, you don't have the memories of it within the 5D. So you're going to start forgetting things of your past, which probably could be a good thing, because you have to think, we was in a negative space. Our minds were always corrupted. We were taught specific ideologies, and then as you grow, you start to learn. But the thing is those are down here, and then we're moving up here. And when you're moving to a higher space, more of a God space of a mind, then you're going to start relinquishing all these lower negative energies that have been just like suppressing you for so many years. And that has to be what it is, because there's a suppression. I just heard suppression. So what it is when you're down there, it suppresses you in that state. And when you move through the state, what happens is it's not that you forget them, you just don't live in the same space as them anymore. So when you're moving out of that space, you don't remember it anymore, because your mind has almost been cleared of this negative. It's not always negative. I've had good times in the 3D. I tell you, I used to have a lot of fun, but I don't remember half of it. I really don't. I really don't anymore. And sometimes I just like think about it. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I don't remember this. I don't remember that. Somebody else will mention something else. Don't remember it from Adam. Don't remember it at all. It's so weird. So, can you force lower entities to leave your area with certain devices? So they're saying they're saying that they live in the space around us, right? But when you live in a specific state of living, they are less likely to attach to you, because when you live at a certain space and time and a mindset, these things don't want to stay on you and stay around you. So it's like they'll shift in. They might mess with you for a hot second, maybe a couple days. I'm not saying that they can't. They can. But they will not stay for long periods of time, because they cannot do it. They can't live in that space, because they live in a 4D. And when you're moving out of this space into this space, they're going to like hop in, and they might fuck with you a couple days, and they might put some things in your way. And just like my dog with this cancer that's just like growing out of control all of a sudden, right? That could have been some form of something that came in him, gave him some type of cancer to get me out of this mind. And you have to think of it like that, because they are able to create certain things, because everything is energy. And if they are energy, what makes you think that they cannot create some type of energy and put it inside of something that you care for, if you get what I mean? So we have to think about it like that. There's something that we need to know about resonance. So they're showing everything radiates at a certain level. So they're showing like plants and animals are all the same, because they are so connected. The thing is, we have been taught that we are like a different food, like a different type of being. So we have disconnected ourselves with the animal species. So they're showing like they resonate together. Now, is red meat actually a lower? And so they show me like a pig getting slaughtered. So if it is done in a harmful way, then it can lower the resonance of that meat. Now, can that be able to? They said, but the thing is, if you live in a high space and you live within this high vibrancy, right? So if the around you is always radiating at a high level. Even if you come across meat that could have been slaughtered imperfectly, to where they maybe have lowered the resonance of life because they went through fear and a bad death, what they're going to do is actually, as you take Lord, as you take this food in, first what you need to do is, they're showing me, like, look at the food. You don't have to pray over the food. You just look at the food and hold it in a space of, like, light energy. That is a healing aspect, to be able to clear the energy of the food on the table. And then as you consume it, your body will release the rest. So you need to first bless the food with light and then eat it. And as you're eating it, your body will change it into a nourishing thing. Now, is there a difference eating meat and vegetables? So they're saying that the thing is, everything within all things, they are still energetically living, right? So with everything energetically living, there are certain things that we see as humans that could be different. Now, the thing is, they're showing, like, the cycle of men, how at the earlier part of why they were doing certain things was because of their lifestyle. And today we do it because of convenience. So it's a little different how we look at food now than we did then. But what they would try to do is they would try to do a blend. So what they would try to do is I'm seeing, like, old school. So maybe 1800s. So I'm looking at, during the summer, they would eat mainly all vegetables and fruit. And then in the winter, they would shift over to meat. And that would only be because they could not be able to harvest it. So there has to be a blend, is what I'm getting. So we need to understand that eating too much of one thing can do something to your body, because certain things have acidity in it and can create cancerous-like things in your body. Chicken is one of those. So if you eat a lot of chicken, maybe it's time for you to try to start cutting it out and put more vegetables and less chicken. Or do what I just said, hold the light over the food. Try to help it and elevate the energy of that food so it's consuming. Now, when you live in a high space vibration through focused life force energy, I call fluffy, that energy automatically, so you can eat the food and it will automatically shift the food to where it's a harmonic level for your body, because you live in this space of oneness with everything around. So, and also it helps with mental capacity and everything. So it's a really good service. I tell you, I love that shit. So now the thing is, can eating meat put people in lower states of being? If they're eating them for the wrong reasons. So if it's like if they're doing it for the wrong reasons, it can. So they're showing, like, people would best way to put it. Now they're showing, like, people that are literally killing an animal to do blood sacrificial things to, and then eating through it. So, like, they would kill it, do blood things, and then after they're done, what they'll do is then eat the thing. Well, that's going to put you in a lower state. Because you just did all this shit with this food, and now all of a sudden you want to consume it. So not only have you done this dark shit to this entity, now you're consuming the food. So if you consume anything like that, you're lowering your state of oneness. There is no way you can still resonate the same way that I do, or other people that's trying to live as one. Now, there are certain aspects within that people don't understand what's really happening to you while you're doing these things. And while you do those things, you have to understand what you're putting certain energy out. So if we manifest what's happening, or if you're putting something out for somebody for their demise and then your benefit, and then you don't want to let the meat go to waste, and then you're eating it, what I've heard is what you put out, you get 2 times back. And I've seen that personally with the person that did the hex on our family. So, and what you have to understand is, if you're going to get it back and you're still eating the food that's already going to lower your shit, you're already going to lower your shit by eating it, and then it's coming back, and then you're going to have to take that in too. So you're already from here to get fucked up over here, and then keep on going down. So you just keep on going down the rabbit hole because you don't know what the fuck's going on. People just don't. It's like all these different fields where people think that something, if you do specific things to get you in a space, is going to get you so much farther in life. And it's really, all it is it's like a corrupted mind, and certain things are placed here, and just like now, they're shifting people from one extreme to the next, and then one extreme to the next. And then I noticed the people in like churches are like, they are like balls to the wall right now, it seems like, posting their ideology. And I don't give a fuck. It is what it is. But the thing is they're afraid. They're afraid because why? They're living in the Messiah complex. And when you live within that Messiah complex and you don't understand the book, then you're always going to look outside of yourself, and then you think the world's coming to an end, and then everybody's going to die and burn. Revelation was not the last book of the Bible, honey. So with that said, that was like the middle part of the book when it was originally written. So that means that Revelation is nothing more than an awakening process. They unveil certain things to relate to, for people to understand these concepts, and then a new world forms. So there's a lot of mistranslation on that aspect too. And then all these Christians are over here like, I'm waiting for Jesus to come on a cloud. And see, that bitch is coming on the cloud, all right. That motherfucker's going to be coming on a UFO, flying down and getting zapped right back down up in here. And then it talks about, oh Lord, I tell you, what's funny? Okay, let me keep on going. So when he comes on this UFO, his ass is going to come back and get zapped down over here, and he is going to be thousands of years advanced because he's a fucking reptilian species from another planet. What do you expect, right? Well, these people are going to heal people, they're going to move mountains, and then people's going to think he is like a Messiah. Well, what you have to understand, when they say that when he comes on a cloud, he's coming with the sword to put the sword through the heart of the nations. Well, if you actually look at it, he's putting the sword through he's going to spite those nations. What does the nations really mean? He's going to kill everybody but the Jews. And he's going to be running around with the blood on his clothes. But everybody thinks, oh no, that's like, it's like just how he is. Everybody didn't like him. Girl, read the shit right. The shit is not written right. And that motherfucker's coming back on a UFO, and then he's going to fuck everybody up, and we all going to die. So if you keep calling for him, he's going to come. That's why you got to be ready, boo. Locked and loaded if you got to be. I mean, for real. Some people over here, if you come to my house, you playing with danger. Just put it like that. This little gay boy is locked and loaded, ready to roll. And if you ain't, you stupid. I'm just being honest. People think that living on the countryside, shit can't happen. I don't give a fuck what you think. Let's just make it clear. Let's just make it clear. And if you think guns are wrong, you're living in the hive mind. You're living in the hive mind. Because what they're doing right now is trying to create this agenda. And the next thing that I already see is they're going to ban all gay rights. So any gay person that puts out any like gay stuff, I think you're going to be like a red flag to them. So it's going to be like what y'all call the MAGA today. So the people that call the libs, they now look at the MAGA. They look at the MAGA as like these domestic terrorists. Well, they're now, after they do this agenda and get this agenda across, because they're working on this agenda as we speak, you're going to lose all your rights. That's why I don't believe, when it comes to marriage, nope. It's just something that I see as like they are ready and willing. They've already planned this shit out so many years in advance. They probably planned it out back in the 70s probably. And they set it up to give you what you want, and then they take it away from you to create chaos and madness. And that's just how they work. And because they play your God. They are like the God of this, they aren't the God of this world, but they play God, if that makes sense. So that's that. And then after they do that, they're going to know, okay, well, our society is a bunch of fucking cowards. So next thing you know, they're going to start overruling every motherfucker up in here, and then we're going to be screwed, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Because you go down to South America, right? Back where my partner's family is. You can have guns. What you have to do, you have to disassemble every piece and part, put it in a locked glass case, and have a camera on the disassembled piece of art, practically, that they have on the wall. And the camera has to be on at all times. So really, why do you even want a gun if you have to disassemble the shit? It's pointless. I mean, I tell you. And then it's not. And another funny thing is, okay, so you can get a rifle and you can put the same ammunition stock on that as you can an AK if you wanted to. And the bullets on the AK is actually much less evasive than a rifle. So if it would be any gun that you should be concerned about, should be a rifle. But the thing is, they can be able to claim certain things to get you on this agenda to where it's like, oh my God, everybody's crazy, everybody's getting guns, and everybody's shooting everybody. Not really. And to be honest, I think that maybe they were MK Ultra victims. And that's another thing I would like to dial in on, because I know quite a bit, I've studied quite a bit about the MK Ultra, where MK Ultra came from, who created the original MK Ultra, which was the opposite, and our government learned how to corrupt it. And now it's Black Dianetics, and that's what MK Ultra is. And that would be another one. I have a lot of like ideas, but I don't want to do more than like a 30-minute podcast, because I have ADD, I have ADHD, and homeboy does not like to sit for a long period of time. So you get what you get in a short period of time, and I try to give you as much as I can and talk as fast as I can, and hopefully there is information in here that resonates with everyone that sees a few minutes of this podcast, and if so, that's great. If you get on here and you don't resonate with my shit, you're probably not meant to be here today, or you're probably not meant to be here. And that's how I get it, because I'm to the point now, okay, I put this information out. I'm not putting this information out to get clicks and get a huge subscriber. My information is going to be out for the few that are at this rate and space right now that needs a little bit more than what they're giving. And a lot of people aren't going to be able to get here. I'm just being serious, because they have been in the hive mind. I've been following a new guy on social media, and he has like the government pinned. He's pinned the government. Perfect. Problem is, he is still stuck in that hive mind, and the hive mind is still claiming that like the libs are stealing everything from the repubs. So and until he gets out of that whole thing, he can't get it together either. And it's just sad, because you see some people have so many, like, they're spot on a lot of things. But the thing is, you can be spot on all this, but the thing is, if you have not looked at it without your blinders on, and you think about it analytically and how it's already been planned, then you've missed the whole big picture. And a lot of people have missed the big picture right now. And that's where I try to start drawing the lines, because there isn't many people that look at it like I do. And I'm not trying to have people to get on here and say that I'm like against a religion. I'm not against a religion. You can do what the fuck you want. I'm just being honest now. The thing is I was born and raised Southern Baptist. I am not Christian. I understand the ideology. I would say Christ is within me. That's as far as I would go. And Christ means the anointing of, the flow of, and everybody should have the flow of God coming and going. And as soon as you get in the Messiah complex shuts the flow. So you have to understand that too. And when you are interconnectedly flowing with source energy, why is it that you have to allow the Jesus character and his Father in? Think about it, right? So if they're interconnected like the universal forces that's all around us, they should not have to knock and then you open the door to let them in. That's just a red flag, in my opinion. So we have to understand these things for what they are, and most people don't. So we got to get it together. And I hope that was a good one about the resonance. That's something I wanted to know, because I think a lot of times people put out information and they just ad-lib what everybody else says. I don't have the time. I don't have the patience to do that fucking shit. So if you're going to get what you're going to get it out of my mouth, and it's going to be straight up the truth, and it is what it is. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself. And that is Resonance on Thankful Thorsday. And this is Sacred Tree. I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye-bye.